get started, and I want to first start this off by thanking Pastor Jackson and the congregation and the membership of Trinity United Church of Christ, Gary. Yeah. Once again, I'm honored and privileged to be, our organization allowed to come into Trinity United and work with me. We really appreciate you always open the doors to us, and the fact that you just don't say no. So, we really appreciate that, and at the same time, we really like, for me, I'm a big time follower of Pastor Jackson. Very educated brother, deep, deep. And I love the way he carries himself in the community, I love to give, I love to see people, fulfill themselves, shall I say. So that leads us here today. My name is E.J. Jenkins. I represent Black Living Project, and tonight is part 2 of our Project 2025 series. This is going to be like an informal conversation, educational conversation. This is not about Pastor Jackson or myself trying to sit back and educate everyone. This is going to be a platform where we educate each other. It's a platform for us to talk to each other and learn from each other, support each other, and build for one another. I felt Project 2025 was a major blow to the Black community, especially Black folks in general. Because you can say the Black community, but that doesn't mean that the Black community is 100% Black. But this Project 2025 definitely come out 100% Black folks. We are we will be impacted with it, and I think our community should be educated when it comes to it. This shouldn't be like some sad conversations, not really trying to gain the information or talk about the facts of it. I think we should really try to dig in deep and try to understand it. Try to understand it so we can actually build from it and organize around it. That's one of the main goals, to try to help organize and then mobilize actions around the narrative of Project 2025. So from that, I want to say thank you also to the Black Living Project crew. You all seen what the Unapologetic shirts on. And also thank you to you all as well for actually showing up in the hail, the rain, and all that. That means y'all committed. I appreciate that. So let's go and get started. The last time we was here, we actually, can y'all hear me? All right. So the last time we was here, I wanted that just to be an introduction. An introduction just to see that what this was, what Project 2025 was. And then at the same time, I wanted to see from everyone exactly the feelings towards it. You got a lot of people out there that's not really paying attention to it. A lot of people out there kind of nonchalant about it. So I wanted us to come together to try to figure out what was our feelings towards it. Do we think it's going to impact us? Do we think it's going to benefit us? You do have some people that actually believe it's going to benefit us. So I felt like coming together and try to have these conversations can only build us and actually equip us with information to give back to the community. So now we can actually externally organize outside of this realm right here. So from our last one, do anybody got anything to reflect on or? Anybody? Okay, well look, let's go and dig in deep. So we had some cards in the back that got bullet points on them. They got topics, they got bullet points. I'm gonna go towards a couple of them, then I'm gonna let Pastor Jackson say some things as well. First, I want to actually dig in this education piece because this education piece was kind of deep last time we had a conversation about this. When I went and tried to put these cards together, and I'm reading because I had to edit them a little bit, this is actually deeper than what we were talking about at our last meeting. And I mean way deeper. So, one of the things is eliminating Head Start. That's eliminating Head Start. And as you read from the card, it said, well, end Head Start would help to promote school readiness for infants, toddlers, and preschoolers from low-income families. That's like, Head Start is a big deal within the black community. I'm a product of Head Start. I'm a product of Head Start. And just think about a lot of families will be impacted by that. That's an early learning program. An early learning program that's pretty much free to our families to try to help build our infants. Head Start isn't something people just go to and just sit there for like 5 minutes or an hour. You know, go to sleep for the next 4 or 5. Like we was actually getting educated in Head Start. So that was getting us prepped for kindergarten. And now they're talking about ripping that away. Like literally ripping it away. And it also says since 1965, Head Start helped more than 38 million children from low-income families receive early learning, health, nutrition, and family support services to succeed when they reach kindergarten. Preschool programs at Head Start are shown to pay off at a rate of 13% per year. The Project 225 agenda calls for eliminating the program entirely. It just don't stop there though. In the public schools, it's up to get rid of the free lunch programs. I mean, come on, man. Like, to be honest, in some of our households, in real poor households, a lot of kids are looking towards that one meal. I'm just being honest. But they're talking about ripping that away. So directly, just the two things you mentioned so far in education, that hit us directly. Impacted us automatically. At this Head Start. Getting to the free school meals programs. They said it would direct the Department of Agriculture to work with lawmakers to end universal free school meals that provide food security to millions of children. Research has shown that participating in school nutrition programs can make a big difference in student attendance, academics, and overall success, especially for low-income students. Following the pandemic, 8 states have continued offering all public school students free school meals regardless of household incomes. Which you know right now, like some do have to pay depending on how much they make per year. Reducing the stigma around eating free meals and removing the burdensome income eligibility paperwork can help millions of hungry children succeed in school. What's more, research has repeatedly shown that every dollar invested in school nutrition programs is returned back to the community served and then some. The Project 225 agenda instructs the USDA to work with lawmakers to end universal free school meal programs, including summer meal programs. That affects us. Yeah, I mean, well, I keep going. We might got, because we definitely need to hear from you all too. Like, what's your emotions on that? Anybody got any emotions on that? All right, Renee.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that Project 2025 would eliminate literally like feeding poor children, like, you know, cut through all of the whatever, right? That the children who are vulnerable, children who have no say so on what their parents make, what kind of jobs they have, and we have the ability to feed them, and we make an intentional decision to not feed them, I don't know how that makes sense, especially when you look at the other parts of Project 2025, where they're gonna increase tax subsidies and tax relief to the wealthiest corporations and the wealthiest individuals, right? So, it doesn't add up. And the other thing is that, you know, as you said, EJ, this has, you know, we're talking about the youngest and most vulnerable people in our society. And so what does that do? That doesn't just have an impact for them when they're 4 years old or 5 years old. That impacts them for the rest of their lives. Impacts their families for the rest of their lives. And so if we're not gonna feed them, if we're not gonna educate them, then what are we raising them to do or to be? What kind of future do we aspire, do we think these children are aspiring to, right? It's kind of insidious, and tragic, at the same time, that you are, again, making a calculated, intentional decision to not feed children, to not educate children to their fullest potential. And it just shows to me that, their agenda, is calculated. You know, I don't wanna throw around any words, but they are trying to destroy our community's future. It's plain and simple.
And I really do think that we are a major target in that. Because that's actually just a stepping stone. And they're actually just a stepping stone, because I believe what they actually trying to do is trying to get rid of all those government programs. All those government programs that we actually benefit from. So, I'm gonna say this too, like, Project 2025 is a one-sided, it's like a one-sided structure in a way. You have these elite individuals, and I can't call all of them elite, but you have some authors such as Ben Carson is one of them. There's some folks who's from the past administration, the cabinets and all that. But they don't look at things through the lens that we live in. They look at this, I don't know what kind of window they're looking out of. I want to say make-believe or dreamland, where everyone has the same opportunities that they have. Look right now in Gary, we don't. We really don't. But they're looking at that same window like we all have the same opportunities. They, you know, and when people are saying we don't need affirmative action, racism doesn't exist. Anybody prejudice? Y'all looking at it through the wrong lens, and you know, this when it's right in front of you all the time. The quickest way to see it is just wait for an election cycle. And so the biggest component of racism is right there in the election cycle when they're trying to suppress your vote. So I mean, like, they're making up this document, and they can say like it's targeting a whole lot. I feel that it's blatantly targeting us as black folks and the black community.
I think the lady there had.
First, I'm sorry.
That's okay. She asked me to sit over here.
Okay,
Raise the mic to you.
I feel like when they are making decisions to stop the free meals and universal free meals, some need it because of economics, some need it because we're not fortunate enough to work 9 to 5. I pay a lot of taxes. I work very hard, and it benefits my grandchildren. And I just asked her, does she enjoy breakfast and summer meals at the park? And she said, yeah. So how I don't understand how we can send millions and billions to Gosnell or wherever we're sending money to, and even consider taking away from our children. It doesn't make sense. I wish they could make it make sense. You can't stop taking care of your house and send more or bring more and give them some and take away from ours. It just doesn't make sense. It seems like it's an intentional plot to hurt, not us. I just don't agree. That's just not a good way to do business.
I'd like to say something to piggyback off what she said. It's like that great philosopher throughout this year with the ancestral realms. We got money for wars, but we can't feed the poor.
Yeah.
And
Tupac, you already know.
I just want to speak from my experience with education. It just seems like, I read the first bullet point where they're saying that they want to direct public schools funding to private school vouchers. To me, education is a game changer. I am a degree person. My daughter is a degree person. Matter of fact, she was here for the first meeting. And my daughter did Head Start. She was able to get accepted in a program that allowed her to go to out east to a school because of her academics. And the way I see it is that they're trying to dumb down our people and, trying to tell us what we can learn and taking, certain things that we know about, especially about our history as Black people, and taking that away. And they're trying to tunnel us and funnel us in a way that they would want us to go. So I think, with my daughter, she works in the Department of Education, and she was talking about for people to be able to get rid of their loans. They got these school loans and be able to pay those off. So they're trying to hide things from us and keep us in the dark. And education is a game changer. It's a game changer. And so I think that we're not going back, and we need to, anything that's going to hinder us or try to deter us and move us backwards, we need to fight that with all costs, because education is a game changer of being able to educate our people to their fullest ability. We need to get that done. We need to get that done.
You don't hear us saying, they are doing this or they are doing that. And so let's name the they. The Heritage Foundation. How many are familiar with the Heritage Foundation? So the Heritage Foundation are a group of mostly billionaires, who have what is called a conservative view of this country. What that means is they are heavily wedded to Confederacy. Okay, and so they have come together. Now they're not new; they've been around a long time. I want to read a little piece from the foreword to Project 2029 that was written by one of the members, Kevin Roberts, and he says it was early in 1979 amid stagflation, gas lines, the red Army's invasion of Afghanistan that Heritage Foundation launched the Mandate for Leadership project. He says, we brought together hundreds of conservative scholars and academics across the conservative movement. Together, this team created a 20-volume, 3,000-page governing handbook containing more than 2,000 conservative policies to reform the federal government and rescue the American people from Washington dysfunction. It was a promise from the conservative movement to the country, confident, specific, and clear. Now here's the point. He said, Mandate for Leadership was published in January of 1981. The same month, Ronald Reagan was sworn into his presidency. By the end of that year, hear me, more than 60% of its recommendations had become policy. You said something about the government offices. One of their points in this is a 900-page document, Project 2025. One of the points is to dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. What that means is to return self-governance to the states, okay? So it is, again, they've been working at this for a very long time, and they've been organizing for a conservative president. Now it's Donald Trump. So that day one in office, this document that they have created will then be put into policy by the president. It says the next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the term sexual orientation, gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Deleting from any government agency any of these terms, which includes affirmative action and critical race theory and et cetera, those things that you've heard about that are addressing what America has actually done to, in particular, black folk. One of the areas, in healthcare, Project 2025. And again, if you Google, you can get a summary. ASNI does a summary of many of the points. And so in healthcare, Project 2025 calls for repealing the $35 per month cap on insulin costs for seniors on Medicare, as well as ending Medicare's $2,000 per year cap on out-of-pocket drug costs that begins in 2025. They also are proposing that people on Medicaid will be required to work. They are proposing the administrative state, Federal Drug Administration. Those are the people that make sure when you take a drug that it is safe, right? Am I right? We got nurses in there. Am I right? Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you have this department that yes supposedly does it, but just thinking now if we don't have it, then the pharmaceutical companies will decide if it's safe or not. Do you trust a corporation? Okay, this is my point. So they have proposed to limit and eliminate the Federal Drug Administration. Again, you've heard of boar's head meat? and you heard of the recall. Trump, when he was in office the last time, he pulled back the regulations on these corporations that are preparing our food. As a result, Boar's Head Meat were found to have lice and all kind of nasty crap going on at their plants that now has killed how many people? 10, 12 people? I don't know. And how many others are sick? So again, and that goes along with they want to dismantle the Department of Education. You've been talking about education. So again, the states will decide, how education is run, which means you have politicians who will then make decisions on who gets educated and who doesn't, and it's all up to them. And they're saying the federal government will have no input in that. You've heard of the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. They are looking to do away with that department also. What does the EPA regulate? Air, water, from polluting. Keeping corporations from dumping their garbage in the rivers and filling the air with their pollutants, right? And so there are regulations that they have to follow. Well, corporations and CEOs have said, we don't like these regulations because it's causing us to spend money on these things that we have to do to make sure that we're not polluting the air and poisoning the water. And we are taking away from our shareholders' money. We want to be free to make money. And they use the lure of saying, and we want to be able to create more jobs. It also will mean that there is an area that is called Cancer Alley. And it runs from Mississippi through Georgia or whatever. What I'm pointing out on Louisiana and whatnot, what I'm saying is that area has more factories than most other areas, right? And the people in those areas are majority African American. And the high rate of cancer is off the Richter scale. Because these companies are allowed to go in black communities, set up shop, and they start poisoning. That's what they want to do in Gary. They constantly want to put these factories in Gary to do that. Well, they want to do away with the EPA, and they want to do away with these regulations. And so when a company, to decide something is poisonous, it generally goes to court. But the Chevron doctrine. Anybody heard of the Chevron doctrine? Okay, so that case just came through a few months ago, the Supreme Court. They ruled on it in June. The Chevron doctrine is a doctrine that said the EPA and their and the professionals, the people that study science, the people that study these things, are the ones who will then advise us on what is good, what is not good as far as these companies polluting, and et cetera, right? Well, the Supreme Court just ruled that, they just overturned the Chevron doctrine. So now they said, we will no longer look to professionals who understand, what pollutants are and who study this stuff, these scientists. Now judges will make that decision. Judges who study law, not air, not water, not any of these other things. The judges will make those decisions, right? Now remember how federal judges are appointed by the president, and they are appointed for life. And so when the presidents appoint judges, like Trump appointed gugobs of federal judges, and they lean toward corporations. So they want to eliminate the EPA. They are when it comes to abortion, they just gone rabid, right? They have gone sick with it. Because in this document they talk about we are celebrating the end of Roe versus Wade, and we intend to go further. So there is a case that was in 1873. It's called the Comstock Act. You can look it up. Now, I don't see nobody right now, but it's okay. Look it up. The Comstock Act of 1873. And what that act determined is that you cannot use the United States Postal Service to send obscene material. Now, they are in Project 2025 so that when these things go to court, they are intending to use the Comstock Act to say that you cannot mail abortion pills, etc., or you go to jail.
What's that second word? The Comstock Act?
Comstock.
If you got this health and safety,
Hey, yeah.
it's right
Yeah,
there.
Comstock Act.
Underneath eliminates reproductive freedom nationwide. It's right
Yeah.
there.
I appreciate these cards.
Oh, no problem, no problem.
Yeah, so that in addition to, now they say it's not going to be a national registry about abortion, but it is, because they're also saying in Project 2025 that they are going to require every state to report the names and how many abortions happen in that state. So in other words, you will be on a registry if you have an abortion. You will be on the registry if you get pregnant. Because they're going to want to know if you're going to try to go to another state or another country to terminate that pregnancy.
I think that's really important, Pastor Jackson and EJ. I know that in some cases, as the blue states are looking at scenario planning in a worst case scenario, there's some efforts to look at if people can pass legislation that would protect women's health data so that they would not have to reveal that information. That not tracking your pregnancy, not tracking your menstrual periods, not tracking any of your personal health information to prevent that type of thing from being implemented as a part of Project 2025. So I just want people to know that just as, like, they told us what they're gonna do. They kind of laid out the whole plan. And so where we can go on offense or be more protective in case of a scenario that I know for a fact that people are looking at writing up sample legislation and things like that they can pass post-November 5th in an expedited fashion in the triple blue states so that they can get that implemented to protect women's health care, for example. That's only one example. I think they're looking at a number of legislative measures. Of course, that will end up being litigated, but in the short to midterm will at least provide some protections for women. If I could, I just wanted to say something else. So Pastor Jackson also mentioned some things about the Heritage Foundation and what they're doing. And I actually just forwarded this information to some of my colleagues, where the Heritage Foundation has flooded the federal government, their oversight project, with 2,000 requests, public record requests, for information, so from civil servants, from people who work for the federal government, from their email, text, Slack, and Microsoft Teams messages that contain the words and terms including climate change, DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion, GOTV. Many of these Freedom of Information request the messages of the individual employees by names. They've also requested people's calendars so they can see who they're meeting with. And the folks who are doing this, they're also, South Communications have mentioned Trump or reduction in force. They asked for all employees who entered a position at the agency as a political appointee since January 20th, 2021, which was the first day of the Biden administration, as y'all were trying to figure out what that was. And they say, this is the Heritage Foundation's folks are saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. They expect to submit before the end of this year 50,000 Freedom of Information requests. So when they talk about weaponizing the federal government, when they talk about eliminating certain things in the federal government, like the Department of Education, or attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion, they're not waiting until they win. They're already attempting to execute and get data on this so that they can hit the ground running. And I think it's important for us to know this, not to be afraid, because we ain't scared. We just got to know what they're doing so we're equipped to fight.
I want to also mention that if anybody that's a federal employee, they're going to get rid of you because they want all federal employees to be loyal to the president. And so they are vetting right now. Every time these folks go to a Trump rally, they are vetting the best of the worst. So they are going through, their Facebook pages and having conversations with them to see how deeply in they are on this, because they're going to make them a federal employee. They're going to eliminate the federal employees that are there and then replace them with those ones that are loyal to this conservative agenda and Trump, because they say the president has to have loyal people as federal employees. Now, you may think that's far-fetched, but it's a reality that they can bring about the Heritage Foundation and these conservative groups, because they're already, as you said, they're already working on it. Like I said, when they go to the Trump rally and all these things, they're vetting their people right now to put them in position. And they're playing in our faces by writing it and saying, this is what we're going to do. Who's going to check me, boo?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of, we're saying a lot. So how do you feel? I mean, let's some feedback on how you feel. That's important, how you feel about it.
Okay. What?
The first thing I want to say is that we worried about them being all up in our stuff from a health standpoint, and the truth of the matter is they already have that information. We post it, we wear it on our arms, all that's recording. People want to keep track of their mid-seas, all that's recording. They already got that information, so that all I can say to do for that is to breathe, because they got it. Okay? As for being scared, I'm scared. I'm a black woman, and I'm scared. And I know people say, don't be scared, all that stuff. I'm a black woman, and I'm scared. So, and I live in a red state. So, yeah. If this goes down, I'm trying to jump ship. I'm not sticking around to fight with nobody. I ain't trying to help nobody do nothing. I'm jumping ship. Because they have been planning it, you say, since 1980. I believe they've been planning it since the Civil Rights Movement because they felt like they lost. And, the moment they feel like they lose, they automatically go into mode of attack. So they have been planning since the Civil Rights Movement in order to bring us back into our place, which is further back than before the Civil Rights Movement, right? Because we was fighting all of that the whole time. So I'm hoping, because we're always late. And I mean late because we're fighting the powers that be. They got the money. They have the ability to torture us. They can take forever, but we're always on the offense. Or is it the defense?
Defense.
We're always on the defense. So we're always reacting to whatever foolishness that we see it as, but it's their realities that they're pushing on us. And I mean, all I can say is what, we got 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeesh. So I'm just breathing through it all, and I'm hoping for the best. Because even if she wins, they still gonna have stuff up their sleeve. Because they always do. They always do. And I'm sorry, that was depressing. I'll take it over to you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I'm
y'all.
gonna piggyback on her real quick now. So this thing, like, you're right. We do play defense. Because it doesn't line if you got how to play offense. Go back to the civil rights movement. We don't do as much organizing as we used to. And if we do, everything is separate. Everything is separate. Why is it like that? I think we mentioned last time we met together that during the last election cycle, you had 5 black agendas out there. 5. Why do we have 5 black agendas? About 5 different groups. That makes no sense. We do not like, and I'm speaking right now from the heart. I feel that we just don't know how to communicate with each other. We're scared of each other. It's not like your fear is real. But I don't think your fear is for that. I think your fear is really the fact that you don't think that we could come together to actually defeat it. That's the real fear. You have things like this for reasons. But these are small groups. These are small groups. We need to meet and continue to build it. Continue to build it. Ain't none of us in here can say we're the smartest people in the room. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely know people that's intelligent. We definitely know more thinkers. And from that's when our communication really starts. So, you have the right to have fear, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us do. I'm pretty sure that a lot of us do, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. And the only reason why I don't, because it's like, I'm not worried what else you can do to me. You already do a lot to me. So I'm going to get even scared more to see what you're going to do, what else you're going to do to me that haven't even been done yet. I can't give you that power. I can give anybody that power. Because I'm giving power to them to take it from myself. And everybody in here has power. Has power if you know how to use it. So we got documents like Project 2025. Like Pastor Jackson said, this was already created. And they're still writing on it. They're still writing on it. Yeah, we bring it up now. But how long have they been going at it? They've been playing chess with us while we continue to play checkers. And this is real. Miss Daniels. Let me go to the educational piece. Miss Daniels, I forgot what year that was. Fled the state, open doctor program, I believe it was. Who did that affect? You saw senior public schools closing one by one, and your charter schools popping up like liquor stores. You see it right now in Gary. We got more charter schools than public schools in Gary, Indiana, right now. That's there. You don't need this document to see that. That's right in our faces. But nobody going to say, I'm not putting my child in a charter school. I'm not going to put my child here, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to support the public schools. I'm going to have more of a demand from the public schools. You don't see that. What you see is people finding reasons, more reasons to take the kids out of public schools. That's backwards. And look, I'm a changed man. I probably curse now, but I'm a changed man when in church. No, I'm do that. I'm passing that. I'm a changed man. I'm with the Lord now. So, you know. But what I'm saying is, though, we're hustling backwards. A lot of our moves are just backwards. We used to literally come together as a community. We don't even do that no more. When we have things like this, or if Pastor Jackson's doing we're giving away brochures and all that, it should be lines around the block because that's community support. It doesn't matter if you need them or not. I'm pretty sure that you know somebody need them. That's called community support. But we look at it like, nah, I don't want nobody seeing me in that line. And me and the teachers like, I'm going to church, it's go Bible study. She grabbed a bag. I used to look at it like grab a bag. Like we ate food in the refrigerator yet, you know? But if we don't need it, we know somebody else that will.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have to, as a people, we got to swallow our pride. Because as long as we, you know what I'm saying, like hold on to our pride, that brings you documents to life. That gives you documents power. That gives them the authors egos, because they already said who we are. And we give them that each time. Education. It's about gutting the whole system. Even with the student loans. Even with the student loans, it's talking about getting rid of every agency or organization, foundation that's giving you student loans and privatize that. That means Wall Street cats are actually being charged of giving your kids their student loans, which means you ain't seen interest rates yet. And that's in these documents. That's in these documents. Like, I'm just saying, man, like, I fear no one. I can't. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff in these documents that should put fear. But if I do that, I got a hand. I can write. I got a mouth. I can speak. I got a brain. I can organize. If I can do all those, then I'm right there with them. They do not have the numbers that we have if we came together. And that's being real. They do not have the numbers that we have if we came together. 5 black agendas. And I read an old post today when I actually spoke about the Ice Cube situation during that cycle. I didn't agree with Ice Cube in his approach, saying that he's going to go with President Trump, former Trump, you know what I'm saying, 45, you know what I'm saying, because he was the only one that would listen to him. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. My numbers ain't looking too good. I got a month before the election. I'm going to listen to you too. That's common sense. What Biden and Harris were saying, in that same thing, let us get in the door first. Because it's late in the game. We already entertaining, I think they was entertaining like 2 or 3. Let us get in the door. We could have a straight round table about all this. He looked at it as, nah, they don't want to talk to me. They told me I need to wait. Everybody started jumping on that bandwagon. This what media does. They take a little snippet. That little snippet of somebody coming out and say, well, they told Ice Cube he had to wait. Take that one little snippet. But don't go back to research actually what was said. It makes sense for me to tell you, let me get in the door first. If I have 2 to 3, I'm already entertaining. I'm not saying that I don't believe in yours. I'm just saying right now, man, I'll be lying to you if I told them I'm going to entertain it right now. So I'd rather tell you the truth and say, hey, I do not mind meeting with you when we get in. I don't mind sitting down and having a conversation with you when we get in. But right now, I cannot promise that we are getting in. And if I actually entertain your agenda, I'm lying to you and everybody who follows you. And when that's found out that I'm lying to you, I automatically lose. That was common sense. But who was the narrators of everything that was going on with that? Us. We tore ourselves down. And then we talk about Project 2025. A lot of our own people don't think it's real. The document's right in front of you. The craziest part is some of our people think it will benefit them. I'm dead serious. A lot of our people think that this is going to actually build them. The crazy part is, like, this is some of our people, and I'm not here talking about, I ain't gonna name names, but some of our people will talk about one candidate. But I'm like, what did you benefit the last time? Because if a person running again has already been in office, that's a common sense question. Did you benefit last time? I'm telling you all this stuff as if it's brand new. I told you that before. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cockiness, and we're being targeted. We're being targeted, but we're the ones fighting amongst each other. And each time we lose it. Department of Education, that's us. Health and Safety, that's us. I haven't read on this one I just highlighted. It's talking about eliminating child labor protections. Meaning your teenager that's like 14, 15, 16 could go right here and work in the mill. Right here working in the mill, working BP, working in the mines. Your 14-year-old. Well, people get killed all the time in these jobs. But the documents saying they all right. Man, they made it this far, they should be all right. I mean, these are real things. It's not to scare you though. And I understand the fear. It's not to scare you though. It just let you know, like, we already started writing. We got like one up on you right now. And I see how the election cycle got everybody fighting each other, so ain't nobody really paying attention to this. I mean, I'm a union worker. I know the AFL doing a big thing with Project 2025, and that's where I got my resources from. But at the same time, I feel that every international union should be having tons of town halls. I think every international union should be coming right here and finding out who they staff reps or they district reps, whatever. They should be coming up there talking to Pastor Jackson, like, hey, look, how can we get your congregation to meet with our union folks so we can have a tangible conversation about this Project 2025? But yet, a lot of this, like our communities, are overlooked. We left to do these things on our own. I don't mind, Pastor Jackson don't mind, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you all don't mind either. But we should be noticing that, being observant to it, and then change it. They're attacking health care. As Jackson already talked about Medicaid, they're talking about Medicare. These documents are deep. There's not one person in this room who it's not going to affect. So I'm gonna pause now for a second.
We had a question back here.
Okay.
She has a microphone.
Oh,
My feeling was this. I believe, it is a scary situation. But our people, black people, have been in this situation for eons since we've been brought over here.
Can you pull your mic up so that they can?
Since we've been brought over here on the ships. And during the civil rights movement, when they were talking about busing, and they lost jobs and things like that, and, I know they were fearful, but they went on ahead and did the right thing. And we got to, like EJ said, common sense. We know what the right thing is to do, and we got to not. We got to just do that. We got to do it. We have to be like the lobbyists. They didn't wrote the vision. The Bible says write the vision and make it plain. They write their vision. They wrote it down. We cannot, just like when Obama got in office or when things, we taking a breath. We resting. We cannot rest. We have to stay on the battlefield, fight the good fight of faith. What the thing is, we have to get out and vote. We have to vote, and I remember my daughter was saying that we got to talk to our elected officials, and I know Pastor is having something here on the 19th. We got to license and insurance for guns. This is crazy. We need to be the people of reason. We got to speak up, and one of the ways you speak up, you go and vote.
Thanks. What's the name?
Nate is talking. Think about, when you came, you wanted to know something, and I want to know if you got what you needed, or if there's something else you need to know, and we'll see if we can address it.
I agree with everyone here who thinks that Project 2025 is a dangerous project. But it's here, and we have to deal with it. We have to talk about it for sure, get more people to understand what it is, but we also have to be motivated to do something about it. I understand fear. Everybody's had a moment of fear, but it's what you do with your fear that brings some success. Now, in this Project 25, from what I'm hearing, each point kind of feeds into another point. You mentioned the FDA. Well, they're going to be opening up the whatever you want to do with the drugs. Okay, they'll weaken the drugs. They'll give you what you want or what they want you to have. But they're also going to affect the healthcare system. They're going to weaken that. So now you're going to be in a healthcare system that's not going to do you any good. And your food's not going to be any good. So you won't be able to survive as well. So now the death rate is going to go up, and life expectancy is going to go down. You also mentioned that we tear ourselves down, and I don't like the way that comes across. I don't think we tear ourselves down so much as we've been pitted against each other, and it looks like we're tearing ourselves down. And one great quote we have, Gil Scott-Heron said that we've been hoodwinked by professional elites, and so we have to come around, and we know that game. So we have to be better at playing these games. They came up with this the coin thing, okay? That tore our community apart. J. Edgar Hoover tore our communities apart. They did the tearing, okay? They tore us apart. So we have to get ourselves back together. And as far as planning goes, we have to approach this. This has been going on. Project 2025 came across, started back at post-Civil War. They didn't want to lose their war. They didn't want to lose their land. They didn't want to lose their income. Okay, they got part of it back, and they've been planning this ever since. Civil rights came along, and we made some impacts, even through Jim Crow. We made some impacts, but that was too much for them. So we have to now. We see where they're going. We have plans. We'll take those 5 plans that you mentioned. Let's get those 5 groups together. Okay, let's tell them. Let's direct them. You guys need to talk this out. Okay, and bring this together, and not be afraid to do that. We have to do more than just plan now. Even if Kamala wins, we gotta keep planning. And not just keep planning, but we have to see those plans through. We have to get those points together and act on them.
Yeah.
Okay, or Stephanie, then over to him.
Thank you. Will there be another installation of this program? When?
The 22nd.
The 22nd of October. Okay. Like you said, we had 5 different agendas, black agendas. Like Nate just said, we need to bring all 5 of those together. There's no reason, rain or shine, why this church shouldn't be packed in the center of a black city. Right here, right now, we're preaching to the choir. Everybody in here is familiar with Project 2025. Everybody in here knows from whence we've come. The point is now, what do we have to do? We have run into several, especially black men, who have said they're not voting or they're voting for Trump. So it's time for mobilization. It's time for, we need to go get all of these groups, instead of just the Black Labor Week group, reach out to every church, every organization, the NAACP, the Urban League, block club units, whatever. But this place should be packed. I'm a member of this church. I know how many people it holds. This is ridiculous. Second, my second point, sister, to you up there, this is a time for arms. And I hope I don't offend anybody, but everybody in here needs to have a gun, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in every room of your house. It's time to protect yourself, because some shit about to go down. I'm sorry, forgive me. But I know my pastor, and I know he's not going to shoot me for saying that. But it's about to go down, win or lose. So get your stuff in order, everybody in here, and tell your people to get their stuff in order. Because it's time for us to mobilize and act. Next week for this program, this church needs to be filled. We are all a part of organizations. I will bring my sorority, you bring yours. You bring everybody on your nursing staff, everybody on your nursing staff. Every church is associated in here. We need to pack this house, because we need to get these young black men on the right side of the ticket. And I'm sorry, that's my piece.
No, that was a good piece.
Well, I'm going to be short and because it's been said what we need to do. I want to applaud this organization, the labor group. I want to applaud what you are attempting to do. But in organizing, we use a term called agitation. Encourage out of love. So we gotta agitate. I know some of you all go to church, right? You need to agitate your pastor. You need to agitate folks who are in leadership role in the church. If anything I'm really familiar with and I love, it's the church. Okay? Started organizing in the church. So we need to agitate folks. We need to agitate people who say they stand for something, but they by themselves. First of all, we can't win this thing by ourselves. We need a leader is a person who has a following. We need some leaders, okay? Because we are in a war, okay? We are in a war. And in a war, you got to be ready to fight, okay? And one thing we got to mention, we got to raise some money. You mentioned the Heritage Foundation and ALEC. These are billion-dollar corporations. ALEC is the Koch brothers. Y'all know the Koch brothers, right? If you don't know them, almost everything everything you buy, tissue, everything is from the Koch brothers. They have 146 different products, companies. Okay? They said we putting up $1 billion. Okay? One brother died last year. But there's still one left. They're billion. billionaires. So we gotta put up some money because this is gonna take organizing, okay? Because, yeah, some folks got other jobs, but we need some organizers. We need to hire organizers. This can't be in the good old days and during the, Dr. King's days, because sometimes folks just put groceries by the door. No. Folks got families, and we need to raise money. That's what foundations are for. I'm part of Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter was given over $80 million. They have spent 44 of that million, okay? And some of it has trickled down, but not all of it. Not all of it. And they have hurt some things, okay? Hurt some give. But we got to give. We got to give ourselves on a local basis and a national basis, okay? Because we got some stuff to deal with right here in our city, right? In every city, you got some stuff to deal with. You got to learn some rules about public engagement, okay? Because there are people who are taking advantage of us, okay? That are saying the wrong thing and implementing the things in the wrong way. So I just applaud you because this is an effort for African American people. This city, African American city, this is the African American city. And we need to be leading the charge and challenging anybody who is going against what's good for the mass of people, particularly African Americans in this community. So I encourage us to go out there and let's work together. Continue to do all this. We thank you, but let's get together and put up some money. Okay, we need to be a 501c3 so we can ask foundations for some money. Tell the Legacy Foundation we love everybody. Now, don't hold this together. We love everybody, but give some of that money. Lily gave the Legacy Foundation all that money. Okay, and which Lily is a big, one of the top 20 foundations in the world, right? So we need to get some of that money so we can be using it to benefit our people.
Sitting here and listening to you, something brought me back a long time ago when somebody said to me, when you talk about education or you talk about nutrition and you talk about health, Attorney General told us one day in his service, you can't have a healthy person without an educated person. You can't have an educated person without a healthy person. And that's something that I was thinking about, wow. Listen to this now, they trying to affect healthcare, they trying to affect education, and they trying to affect the nutritional part of it, the food. You need food to be healthy. And you need a education to even realize what your doctor or read about how to take care of yourself. When I was in school, when I first went back, for graduating, we was thinking about, wow, we used to write our literature, healthcare literature for the 9th grade level. Now, we talk about we have to write it for 6th grade. Now they saying we might have to write it for the 4th and 5th grade. So education, and like you say, plays a big part starting off at the young age.
I want to start with thanking you all for having this forum here today. A lot of us, when we look at the Project 2025, we hear of it, but when you get a chance to hear the details that's inside of each of the different categories, especially when you broke down the part about education and then we talk about the employment and the research they're doing on people, so they're looking forward to replacing folks. And I'm glad you have the QR code up here because a lot of people are uneducated on different specifics. Some are elders that are in the home, or some just have disabilities where they can't make it to the polls. So we have to concentrate on each community, each district. You know, here in Gary, precincts, and then they attacked us and got it down to 53. So they already attacked us in the past. So we have to fight an uphill battle. So we have to get the information into the families, get the information we have into the different age groups, because everybody listens to a particular people. You know, we might have to catch the young person out there that's always able to get his first 5 at the Hudson and Campbell and places to say, hey, we need you to share this information with your peers. You know, you got different categories of people. You know, we have to go into those households of large people that have a lot of potential age group voters. You know, we have to look at everything strategically like others. And some of us have families in other cities where we have to contact them and say, hey, now don't take any of these things lightly. You know, because we have cousins and family and different people in different areas, so we have to wake up everybody like, hey, from now until election day, you know, sometimes you have to stop folks and say, hey, we're going to sit up there and check your status and see, hey, we might have to give you rides to the polls. I remember when Gary had the meetings in Tri-City and they mobilized, it was people from Illinois coming over here driving people to the polls for early election voting. You know, we have to do all the different strategic parts that we can to put those things in motion. You know, it's a blessing that you have this information. So instead of some of us aren't good with communicating, but if we have the literature that we're able to give to someone that we can point out those things. You have people that can hear you and understand what you're saying. You have some that you have to show them. You know, so it's like this is election almost, you might say, for our lives, because one candidate couldn't take the fact that every possible court hearing said that he lost, and he let people attack the U.S. Capitol for hours, watching it on TV. So it's like, we don't want to, I know I don't want to see what he's going to do in 4 years if he up there acting a fool and let our democracy be put on the line like that. You know, a lot of people don't think about those parts. I don't want to revisit the worst part that we ever saw, and then in Charlottesville. Yeah. Oh, there are good people on both sides. You know, they didn't talk about the people that was being beat in the parking garages, and they didn't stop that. So it's like, hey, when we have to reflect on people, I don't know if we got to have PowerPoints or what, but I'm looking forward to sharing this information abroad, because it's real serious. So I'm glad to be here with you all and still learning.
All right.
I just want to say a couple of things. So in terms of a Head Start, I was my kids' Head Start. I bought them flashcards, I bought them sight words. So therefore, if those items are removed, I taught them how to read. They went to kindergarten knowing how to read because I was there doing those things. In terms of the vote, I have a 20-year-old son. He is so unmotivated, and I've been taking him and my daughter to vote with me ever since they were little. I had to bribe him as a birthday gift. I say, you're going to vote, and that's my birthday gift. So those are some of the things that we can do. And then myself, I'm a discharge planner at a hospital. It is very, very, very important that you all know what your health coverage covers. Because in the removal of possibly removing Medicaid, I will tell you now, Medicaid doesn't pay for anything. So as a discharge planner, somebody needs home health service set up. There's no company that accepts Medicaid for home health. So what we have to do is hunt down the doctors to get them a script for outpatient home health, well, outpatient therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. The problem with that, some of these people don't have rides. So the services that they need, it's already limited, and then it limits it even further. Another thing, these Medicare replacement plans, they're awful. So when you try to go to a skilled nursing home to get that rehab, when you try to get that home health, they don't cover anything either. So by educating yourselves, going back to the education piece of knowing what you have, what you can do, what you need to do, starting with self. And then, like I said, for the Head Start, when I don't give out dowels anymore to my little people, I give out sight words, I give them little learning books. That's what I do. They get tired of me, but I don't care, because I want them to be educated. And then even with some of my patients who come in who don't have health insurance, and the doctors, they don't tell them anything. So what I do is, I'm not supposed to tell them what's going on, but I do it anyways. I shut that door and say, hey, brother man, do you realize where you at and what's going on with you? So it is very, very important that you start with self, and in order to help others, you gotta help yourself and educate people to know what's going on with their statuses, know what's going on with their health insurance, know what's going on with their education, and don't look at it as if they take it away, woe is me. If they take it away, figure it out. We can figure it out, and that's what it boils down to.
I want to say that this is hard work. I say hard work. In other words, what makes you, what do you feel? What do you value? What is it that gives you life? That's hard. Studying this is head work, but then the head begins to touch the heart. So as you have heard the different areas where the Heritage Foundation and other conservative groups, because it's just not the Heritage Foundation. There are a number of other conservative groups, and Emmett mentioned ALEC, but there are a whole bunch of others that all, are partners in one way on this. When you look at those areas, then begin to feel, how is this going to affect me? And how is it going to affect, my family members, my children, my grandchildren, if you don't have any, then grandchildren to be. How is it going to affect us in our community? How is it going to affect me, getting groceries and getting the health care that I need? How is it going to do that? And once that begins to affect you, then it begins to drive you. Fear is good, as long as it doesn't paralyze you.
All right.
Fear is an emotion that we all are supposed to have, because faith is fear that moves with even knowing that I'm afraid, I still go forward. That's what faith is. So fear is good because it motivates us to do something about the situation that threatens us. Because you're supposed to be afraid. It's just not supposed to paralyze you so that you don't do anything. And so in this hard work, that is what brings us back, and that's what motivates us to take, these cards that EJ and them have compiled. It makes it easy. Everybody doesn't have to read that 900-page thing. I did not read the 900-page thing. I just went through it and I pulled out pieces because it's 900 damn pages. Okay, it's not a book I was intended to read.
Yes, sir.
But you can pull out those pieces, right? That then that you see, it's like, what the hell are you doing? And then you can utilize that. So these cards make it easy. Get as many as you can, and you can begin to share them. Now understand, 2 weeks before the election, there's just some folk that you're gonna run into, and they just gonna be contrary. Unfortunately, some of our people have just decided they're gonna be contrary. And when you say you need to vote, and Kamala's the one to vote, they're gonna say, I ain't, and they're gonna do anything, they're gonna say anything to get your blood pressure up. Leave that nigga, I'm sorry, leave that nigga alone. Leave that Negro. Leave that Negro, I'm sorry. You got me on camera.
You won't laugh. I just want you to know that. That's why that's why I keep looking at you.
Leave that person alone and move on to somebody else at this point, what I'm saying, because they are invested with not agreeing with you. Yeah. There's just some people at this point, but there's a whole bunch of other folk, that actually are like you. There are a whole bunch of other folk that don't know. And so we can focus on them, and we can get them back for the last one. I do want to think that also it is daunting to think about this and about the organization and the billions of dollars that they're using and whatnot. But that just shows how much they fear us.
Mm-hmm.
See, they people gang up on somebody that they don't think they can beat one-on-one.
Yeah.
Are you listening to me? Right? And so that shows how much they are afraid of us coming together. I want to mention that when I say we are not alone, look up the Working Family Party. The Working Family Party. The Working Family Party. The Working Family Party. The Working Family Party is a third party. The Working Family Party. They are a powerful group. They got black folk, Hispanic folk, and white folk. But they work for our issues. And so they are a third party that acts like a third party should act at this point. You see, you get the Green Party and you get these other folk that they only come out during a presidential election. And they want to go for the top office. And that's foolish, right? That's ignorant. That's not the way to go about it. The Working Family Party, they start local, and they're in a number of states, right? And they have some big wins. So let me give you one. Anybody know the name Tisha James? Letitia James, New York, who held Trump accountable? She came out of the Working Family Party. She was one of their candidates. So they have some wins. Any third party got to show you some local wins. They can show you some wins, right? But what I'm saying is we have allies and people who know, who are already engaged in strategy. I listen to Sirius. I have a subscription to Sirius XM, and I listen to Urban View. Urban View will give you a lot of information of people all over this nation who are doing what we're trying to do right now. That gives you encouragement. You're not alone in this. What the point is that there are people working all over the nation. So, I listened to Attorney Loree Daniel Favors and Clay Kane and Karen Hunter. They are always bringing people who are doing good work, right? So that helps with your encouragement, your strength. Now, that's just one. There are others. I'm sure people know of others. But what I'm saying is we are linking up spiritually and physically and mentally, okay, to do this work. So you're not alone in this. We are not alone in this. We have allies, okay? So it ain't like that they just gonna roll over us. No, that's why they try to gang up, okay? But I'm saying this is hard work. This is the work. That's why EJ and this group does that, because they are passionate about it. Because they're passionate about the lives of our people. Okay? That's what gets the victory for us. When you're passionate about something, it may take a while, but you're going to bear the fruit of it. Okay? And so I wanna just pass the mic. Please know, any of the brothers in particular who talk about Kamala, it's Kamala, first of all, but any of the brothers that are acting like, because they don't want to, because really it's patriarchy, they don't want to support a woman in power. Okay, let's just tell what it is. It's patriarchy. But, she has a opportunity agenda for black men. Now, what that says, in other words, targeting black men, okay? Among her other policy platforms. What it says is that you vote for a candidate that will hear you. See? So candidates move when people organize and say, this is what we want. This is what we need. Just like we talk about, talking to our elected official, when you talk to a senator or representative or whatnot, when you send them an email, when you send them a letter, when you send them information, when you reach out to them, they take it seriously. And so what the opportunity agenda for black men shows is that we have power. When people are elected, we have power to move them. And that means all of us have to be in touch with them. Because what they say is we don't ever hear from the black community. And part of it is true. Most of us don't send information. Okay? So we'll have to do better in that. Okay? So that's what I want to lay out.
Thank you, Pastor Jackson. Look, we're about to wrap this up in a minute. I'm going to piggyback on what Pastor Jackson said, because this is hard work. This is so much hard work. And I heard what you said in the back about the Head Start and all that. You absolutely right. But we still got to pay attention to those who just can't. And that's targeted. Now, and I'm speaking on that because some of the fact is I have a mentoring program, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And some of these kids, they feed on others because they can't feed on it at home. So like, so look at what we're doing right now as a mentoring program. We're trying to pour into something else to actually build. Like we're pouring it, like we're mentoring, like that's what education is. And at the same time, brother about Emmett, that's his name, Emmett. And so like a leader has followers. That's definitely true. But that doesn't mean that that leader needs everybody to be followed. And I'm saying that because some people will actually tag along because you are the crutch. It's our jobs to actually build each other up. That's one of the key things within Black Liberty Project, to actually create leadership development. It's not about me. Yeah, I founded it, I'm the founder, all that, but it's not about me. And my group can actually tell you, I put everybody in front of me. I try my best to put everybody in front of me. Because I feel, just by meeting them, that they can do more than what I can do in some capacities. And that's just how it is right here within this church. Like Pastor Jackson said, like, we all have allies. And that just doesn't mean like other organizations, other groups. We got family members, we got neighbors, we got people that we talk to on the phone or Snap or on IG with. Post it out there. Like, social media is a powerful platform if you just know how to use it. If everybody's consistent with the message, people start to get the message. They just don't get it when we're inconsistent with it. And a lot of times when we come to election cycles like this, it shows our inconsistency. Because we got this real push. But when November 5th comes, we all like try to wait, and when our people, try to get to win, we go rah, rah, rah. On the 6th, we're done. We're done. We don't work, we don't organize, we don't have these community platforms, we don't have any of that. And I didn't speak on that from the labor movement, because we don't. We celebrate that win by the next week. That's it. We don't talk about it in our union meetings. We don't do nothing. That's it. We don't strategize for the next. We don't pre-plan. We wait till the next cycle comes. That's one of our problems, and that's what needs to stop. These need to be ongoing. As Pastor Jackson said from our first meeting, this will be going on afterwards. After November 5th, we're going to continue to be, try to put our heads together, see what we can actually build. We have something right now. Like, this is momentum. As Sister said, no, the church isn't packed yet. But you got to remember, every great movement that start with packed outs. We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
I know you are.
I believe it. And, especially with inspirations like Pastor Jackson. Because his words are infectious. Even when he trying to get the point across. But his words are infectious. And we could just continue to keep coming, bring somebody with you. Bring somebody, even with our own group. That's me and my whole group. That just doesn't mean y'all. We have to practice what we preach as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all work. This ain't just, well, hey, Black Liberty Project, they having this event, they exempt. No, we're not. We actually more accountable, we should be held more accountable than you. Because once again, we're the ones trying to put it on. So we should be the ones leading the organizing efforts in the community. I don't mean y'all have to, it just means we should be leading. I mean, we can all come together, make this happen. Everybody in here has some real good points tonight. We got some real good momentum going on right now, and the church is packed. I guarantee you, once we be consistent with our efforts, that's just inevitable. That's just inevitable. And from that point, is what we're gonna start seeing mass action. At that point, we're gonna start putting our heads together, start organizing and strategizing on how we can actually implement action within the community. Having to hold not just our local officials accountable, but like Pastor Jackson said the first week, we can take our fight all the way to DC. If they want to actually put something together to try to instill fear in us, let us organize and put something together to instill fear in them. It's been done, and I promise you it can be done again.
That's right.
So, on that note, I want to thank you all for coming out. We still got food in the back. Just saving some rib tips, salads. And we really appreciate y'all coming out. The next one is October 22nd. And also, if you know anyone who's talking about want a phone bank, we'll be doing phone banking at Gary Teachers Union on 15th of Virginia from 4 to 6. And you're paying $15 an hour. As long as we got the money. So we can at least part of that for